Okay, this is a tour of the Lisa Dee guitar. Let's start at the top. This headstock. See, these are vintage style tuner size. Everything on here, the neck and the body and the pick guard and the bridge are all vintage sized. They're not from the actual 50s, but they're the same size as they would have been then. So these have the vintage tuners where you have to measure up, stick the center of it down, and then, if you measure up, clip it off and stick the center of it down the center of the two pole pieces, and then start wrapping it around. But if you look, let's get this over here on the side. See, they're staggered. There's the little ones at the top at the high strings and a taller ones for the low strings. This means that right in here in this area, see, there's no string trees. That's a new modern convenience that the old vintage ones didn't have. Now moving on down to the nut. This is a Tusk, T-U-S-Q nut. It's a modern nut. It's a polymer. It's supposed to last longer than bone, but has the same sonic properties. So down here to the neck, you can see the fingerprints on the neck. It's because it's not finished. There's no finish on the neck. It's just wood. And the back is the same way. And I did that because some people like to shave off the finish off the back of their neck. Or Eric Clapton did it famously on his Blackie. He shaved off the finish in between the frets. But I just got no finish. And we'll see how that does. Maybe the neck will warp and I'll have to change the neck out. But it's working good so far. And these frets are the original kind of frets, vintage style frets. I'm moving right down. We'll go down here to the body. This is an ash body. And most Fenders now don't use ash. They use alder because it's lighter. And I got this ash body that somebody made. It's a vintage size, style with the holes appropriately in the right places. And it was heavy. It was 9 pounds. So this is kind of like a Les Paul weight kind of guitar. It's pretty nice. And if we look in here at the two pickups, those are Lindy Fralin from Richmond, Virginia, 5% overwound telecaster pickups. They're really loud. They're really nice. This bridge, I bought 3 bridges. 2 of them didn't work. But I didn't spend over $5 for a bridge because, why? Because I had to get the vintage style bridge and I didn't want to spend $80. So I got this one and it works. And see, the bridge saddles are rounded, not pointy. So that's kind of a modern innovation. And then this pick guard. This is a tortoiseshell plastic that's a vintage size. It doesn't have a screw right here. And the pickup doesn't screw into the pick guard. It's actually screwed into the body the way a vintage guitar would be. And these, I bought vintage screws. I didn't know what that meant, but it really means that they're not Phillips head, they're straight head. They're really hard to screw in, and they cost about $2 per screw from Fender. So that's kind of funny. Now this is the control plate, and I have a reverse control plate. I bought this from Queen Standard from Queens, New York. And this was the, he made one for himself and he made this one for me. You can't see on the inside, but it has orange barrel capacitors that are modern equivalents of what the vintage capacitors were. And the potentiometers are audiophile as well. See that I have this reverse where I can not bump this switch when I'm playing. And then the final thing, the paint is nitrocellulose. And Fender doesn't even offer that anymore because it's illegal in California because the workers have to breathe it. And it is some nasty stuff. I tell you what, I didn't even drink it all that day and I was drunk from spraying that paint. I put a bunch of coats on it though, but I only put one coat of paint, but I mean, I clear coated it like 12 times. And then this thing, I got one of those electric sockets. Let me see if I can get this in here. Where is it? There it is. And it screws in. The old telecasters, they would pop out and they just sat in there by magic. But these are screwed in. So it's totally better. That's a modern convenience. So this has been a tour of the Lisa Dee guitar with all the accoutrements. And I hope you enjoyed this video.